Hi, I built an AI agent that lets you revive previous deals based on the reason why you failed to close them. The way it works is super simple. You wire Yalc AI agents, then you need to have an account on Claap to make sure that you record all your calls and you know exactly within your source of truth the reason why a deal didn't close, the objection that was shared, and make sure that this through Yalc agents get synchronized inside of your CRM. For the sake of this video, I'm going to be showing you my CRM. I use HubSpot and I use it connected to Claap and to Yalc to make sure that the three talk to each other and we have the best possible information stored that we can act upon. So, giving you an idea on how you can use this agent. You can use it in two different ways. First one is autonomously. So every week, the agent is going to verify based on the reason why a company didn't want to work with you. If they share the right objection, there might be a signal in the market that makes them now qualified. Practical example, if someone tells you, get back to me once I've hired a first SDR or a first BDR, then obviously, if you can monitor this intent, if you can watch whether this is happening or not, you can get yourself to the point where you get the information automatically and now you have a new action, a new task that is synchronized within your CRM, which is the magic of agents when you give them access to the right environment. So the first thing here is to watch the objection with a signal autonomously. Make sure that from your call recording tool, so here in our case, Claap, you get the exact verbatim quote, so you know exactly what they said, and this gets added to your account on HubSpot with everything they said. Then have the context related to that signal. What happens is the moment it gets triggered, the agent is going to run again through not just what that prospect shared with you within the first conversation, but it's going to make sure it rereads the full conversation that you had with them to get any additional inputs that could be used based on the trigger of the signal, the objection, and draft you an opener line. Then what it's going to do is create a task on your HubSpot. Obviously here there is some routing logic that can be created by giving one category of prospect to one category of salesperson within your company and know based on the scoring who should own them, and then notify you on Slack. So imagine if every week you receive and your sales receive messages to help them revive previous deals based on the intent that makes their previous objection obsolete. This is the power of this agent. The second way you can use it is by manually asking it to check if there are any deals that needs to be revived. So for the sake of the experiment and of this demo, we're going to use demo number 2. Otherwise, I can't really show you how this works. So let's get straight into it directly on Slack. So you can watch the video right here where I'm showing you how to connect Yalc AI directly to Slack. And I'm also showing you how to connect the different MCP servers, so your CRM, Claap, to make sure that it can read all the information that will be needed. So here my question is going to be quite simple. Any deals I need to revive? Now I'm going to wait for 2-3 minutes, and once the agent gets back to me, I will take you back. So now what the agent told me is that it's on it. It's running a live scan of my recent closed lost deals, checking each one for fresh signals that contradict the original objection, which is a super powerful approach to always get back to people with whom you already had a conversation. So obviously this is mock data. It's not real information, so that I'm not sharing with you actual companies we're going after, obviously. Here, what it mentioned is it scanned 5 most recent closed lost deals and that 2 have a fresh reason to reopen. First one is Epicor, the objection, not the right time. Ask us again once our new head of sales is in seat. We are not adding DTM vendors until that hire owns the number. Makes sense. So the signal is that they hired someone as a chief revenue officer, and the blocker they named is now filled. There is no longer a blocker, so I can reach back to them. And quick insight tip to salespeople here: a lot of the time you're gonna hear your prospects say, "Hey, I'm gonna get back to you the moment I hire or the moment the objection is no longer valid." The truth is this doesn't happen. Most of the time they don't have the time and they completely forgot about you few days, not even weeks after the initial conversation. So it's your role as a salesperson to own this whole intent management. But again, people forget and people don't have the right routine, which is exactly why having this agent in place for you, your organization, your sales is a must have. And make sure to stay till the end so I tell you how you can get access to it completely for free. So in our case here, I'm gonna ask it to go for just the first one. So taking you back the moment I have an answer from the agent. So again, as I told you, the agent is pulling the Epicor call from Claap to get the exact verbatim objection quote and enrich its context with everything that was said. The reason why it's not gonna just pull the information from HubSpot is that if you really use your CRM right, you don't want to overload it with information. You will only keep what can trigger then a logic from an agent to retrieve that the full context window when it's the right time. And that's exactly what's happening here. So obviously, as I told you, this is mock data. So what it's telling is that there is no Claap recording on file for this specific mock prospect. So it only pulled the objection from what was synchronized directly on HubSpot, and there is a revival message right here. What's interesting also that you need to bear in mind is the way this agent is built is it has access to a memory file regarding how to write messages. And so if you were to give a feedback here, you can also ask the agent to save that feedback as context in the memory so that every N+1 run, you don't have the same challenge with the copy that was written for you. So in our case here, I will just keep it that way and I'm gonna approve so that it can create a task on my CRM. Obviously, if you're dealing with a very high amount of leads on a weekly basis within your organization and you get dozens of them that gets revival every week, there is an additional step that you can add on top of this agent. Obviously, you want to synchronize the task to give it to one of your sales so that someone actually owns that lead. But something that we found worked pretty well is to have a nurturing campaign that is evergreen. So you push people towards that every week, and every week you have someone within your team who writes specific emails that are value driven. So you can repurpose marketing assets, you can repurpose news from your company, you can repurpose news from the market, as long as you provide value to these people. The goal is, well, if they've already had a conversation with you and they told you something about an objection and now they get a call or an email from a sales, but in the same time, they also get value from your nurturing campaign, now you have a go-to-market motion that sticks, evergreen, and will compound over time. Now I'm gonna just approve this task. I'm taking you back the moment I have the task ready on my CRM. Okay, so agent got back to us, task revive, Epicor is live. So if we go right here on our Epicor deal information, we can see that we have a task here assigned to me with a task note right here. So in a nutshell, first, you need to make sure that your CRM works as your source of truth. Second, you need to be using a call recorder to make sure that you have all the intelligence from it. Personally, I use Claap. I highly recommend it. The UX and UI is super simple and they have an MCP so you can connect that directly to any agentic system within Claude Code, which is on top of what Yalc, the go-to-market operating system, and the AI agents built are running. You also need to make sure that obviously you ask the right questions during your sales calls to get exactly the reason why the company is not gonna start working with you as of today. And really, one quick tip here is to follow the 5 whys rule. So if you have one objection, keep digging, like why. Obviously, some people are gonna be fed up after 2 or 3, but at least you got deeper in the reasoning and have all the intelligence you need to eventually get the right signal to be monitored on your behalf autonomously by this agent, and then draft for you directly a 2 lines opener. If you had a call conversation with them before, like over a phone call, you must already have their phone number. If you had it by email, you have their email already synchronized in your CRM. So it's going to adapt the opener based on whatever mean you want to use. And you can also challenge it directly on Slack if you want it to go in one direction instead of the other. Then obviously it's going to create a task for you and send you a DM to tell you that everything is ready. On the autonomous flow and on your manual one, well, it's just going to send you again a Slack message, but it's conversational. So I've added in the description of this video the free access to this agent. It's open source. You can duplicate it and directly run it either natively within Claude Code or watch the video where I show how to set it up on Slack. If you liked this build, do not hesitate to subscribe to the channel, watch the other videos where I'm sharing great additional AI agents to your sales routine. And if you need a team to support you run your own go-to-market motion, you can book a discovery call with me or my team in the description of the video. Bye-bye.